Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. So, on another one of those palindromic days in May.
A couple more left.
I can't believe it. Did you do the crossword?
I did do the crossword.
And did you believe the crossword?
I did.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
And did the crossword leave you feeling good?
Pretty good, yes. I learned something.
Oh, yes?
Every year, my calendar, once a year, has a little thing on it that says HOLI, as a holiday.
Yes.
It's got all the holidays on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wondered how you pronounce that. And now I know, it's holy.
Ah.
Is that holy? Is it holy? How do you pronounce that? It is holy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know that because of the theme.
Because of the theme, yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes, there were 3 theme clues, which were quite appropriate for the revealer. And the first one was 17 across, like a subsidiary with only one parent. And that was wholly owned, wholly spelled W-H-O-L-L-Y. And then we had 27 across, Swiss and Jarlsberg, and that was holy cheeses, wholly spelled H-O-L-E-Y. Mm-hmm. And then the aforementioned 44 across, colorful Hindu celebration, holy festival, spelled H-O-L-I. And the revealer brought them all together, 60 across, a central Christian belief or a phonetic hint to the themed clues, and that was Holy Trinity. Mm-hmm. Three holy clues, all spelled differently, all pronounced the same.
Yep. Mm-hmm. A good theme. I think the only missed opportunity here was they should have put Batman in the grid. Just to sort of harken back. It's like, wholly owned Batman. Holy Jesus, Batman. I don't know if you remember those phrases from the Batman series.
Well, those are all uttered by Robin.
Well, that is true, but no one's they just think that was a bird. Or I suppose it could have been Robin, potential utterer of many of these phrases. Holy Trinity, Batman.
I don't think he ever said that.
No, I suppose if they had like 3 criminals ganging up on him. Uh-huh. Yeah, but, oh well, not really a lost opportunity. In fact, more an advertisement for the excellence of Will Shortz in getting rid of such trifles as that.
Yeah.
Well, I did appreciate the fact that in addition to the aforementioned holy cheeses, we also had at 40 across, gooey spread was brie. Right. And then we had 6 down, which was so close. Pick a side, say, choose, which is almost cheese. And so we had.
I think we can actually count that in the cheese.
I'm counting holy cheeses, brie, and choose. I'm sort of having to reach there a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a funny thing. I was just reading today. Are you aware of the fact that the British are big on a sport called cheese rolling?
No.
Yes. So there's this sport, and this, I think, could only have been created or flourished in Britain, where they roll a big wheel of cheese down the hill, and then they throw themselves down and they roll after the cheese.
Oh my!
And apparently they're trying to get it to be recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage.
Oh. I thought you were going to say an Olympic sport.
I really do think that cheese rolling ought to be a sport. The trouble is, I mean, a lot of these people break bones on the way down because, they're rolling down hills. But
dear.
I'm going to start practicing.
Okay.
I'll start practicing on our lawn, which is relatively flat.
I was going to say you're going to have to go to one of the sledding hills.
No, I'm starting on a perfectly level. I may in fact start on a rug and then see just how that goes.
You'll have to get a rather large wheel of cheese too to practice with.
Yeah, I could just take one of those little brie things and roll it down, I think.
There you go.
Let's see, what else did we have in the crossword? We had 22 down, which we've been seeing a lot of lately. Winged species of folklore, fae, which I think is sort of related to the word fairy. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And that just seems to be popping up.
Yep.
Around that, right beneath that, in fact, we had 25 across. It looked to me when I first read it as no crunchers. And the answer was CPAs.
Yes.
And if you look closely, it's no with a dot after it, which I just assumed was a little bit of debris on my screen, and so I just sort of blitzed right over it. But it was no, as in number crunchers, CPAs. That was a very good clue.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Did you get that right away, or did you misread it?
I misread it, and I can't remember what I put in, but I thought it was like no crunchers. I was thinking it was something related to exercising.
Right. Yeah.
And I can't remember what I put in, but yeah, I did not get that right.
Well, crunchers would have been on your abs, so I'm not sure how you would have worked on that. But we also had, speaking of recently seen answers, 28 down, big boat was a yacht.
That's right.
And we just
had
we
just had that, I think, on Sunday.
The billionaire's boat or something like that. Let's see, 30 down was Lake Blank, body of water about 120 miles south of London. And it's just like, what's south of London? But then I realized it was London, Ontario.
Yes.
And the answer was Erie.
That is correct, yes.
Because I think 120 miles south of London, you're in the English Channel.
Yeah, right.
Of that
or
London.
Or maybe on the French beach.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, yeah. I thought this has to be a debut. Maybe 11 down, acts that are tough, rebellious, and cool in slang. Badassery.
Yes.
Is that a debut?
It is not.
Really?
It has appeared a total of 315. No, just kidding. It has appeared a total of 2 times. One in 2023, clued as formidable but awesome behavior.
Oh, okay. So we've had it before. I didn't remember it.
And I went for bad assers.
Oh.
And so that meant that 43 across, showing more false bashfulness, was coser, C-O-S-E-R. And when I didn't get the crossword to solve, I sort of hunted around and realized that showing more false bashfulness and coser did not belong in one sentence. So that was actually my last set of words there.
No. I ended up on the opposite side, right in the middle there. 33 down was poet written about in the books of Tang.
Yes.
And that crossed with 41 across, DDT banner. And boy, I was reading that wrong. Of course, I was thinking, what would be a banner? For DDT, and I couldn't think what DDT was.
What?
Now when I read it, it's like, oh well, of course, who banned DDT? It was the EPA. But at the time, the poet, I was thinking, well, the books of Tang, that sounds Chinese. And the answer was Lipo,
right.
L-I-P-O. I was thinking, it's Liu, L-I-U something, like Lu Chi or something. But it turned out to be Lipo, a poet I've never heard of.
Right.
And then that was EPA. But
yeah, there's all sorts of culturally insensitive jokes you can make about that clue and answer because, the book, first of all, the books of Tang sounds like something from General Mills.
No.
And lipo sounds like a form of surgery. But in fact, many, many years ago, there was this chap named Lipo, and it turns out, actually, it's Li Po. And there are, in fact...
Oh, Li Po.
Li Po. And, in fact, there are, about 4 different variations on the name. Usually it's Li Bei, B-A-I, and then Li Po, and then Li Pan, and then Li Tai Po, and Li Tai Pei. All these different variations. Wow. It's sort of like a Menra, but for poets. And for listeners who are unaware, there's a god named Amenra, an Egyptian god who is actually the god of false spellings because there are about 8 different ways you can spell Amenra.
They're all used in the New York Times.
Yes, the New York Times expects you to know all of them. I just think the next couple of days we're going to see Li Bei and then Li Pan and then Li Tai Po all show up.
Li Po supplants Amenra as the one name poet.
Right. Well, actually, it's 2 names. Right? I mean, it's Li Po, 2 words.
It's his name, but yeah.
I started looking at the Poetry Foundation's website, and they had one of his poems. It's actually Exile's Letter, and it's authored, the tagline is by Li Bei, but it's Li Po, of course. And it's a really interesting sort of poem, rather on the lengthy side, not sort of like roses are red, violets are blue, not that sort of thing at all. We had 34 down. Let's see, 34 down was Tell Me, and it's I'm all ears.
Right.
I just like that as I don't know, there's just something about that phrase, I'm all ears. It sounds like a curse that someone would place on you. You will now become all ears, you're sort of transformed to just this big ball of ears or something like that. Best clue, though, has to be 37 across, car. That's C with a whole bunch of A's and then R, you might say. And the answer was limo.
Right.
So, and the fact that it was crossing with lipo did not help me avoid the lipos joke, but it was in fact lipo crossing with limo. I bet that lipo never took a ride in a limo.
I would venture to guess no.
Because they didn't have cars around his time. So, yes, this was a very good crossword indeed, and it was by Ginny 2.
Very nice.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it for the crossword, but it is Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
Which means it's time for Triplet Tuesday. And for new listeners and old listeners with bad memories, Triplet Tuesday is that segment where one of us reads 3 clues to the other, and the answer to all 3 clues is one 3-letter answer, and the object is to guess that answer in as few clues as possible. You are invited to play along. Just hit the pause button after, in today's episode, I've posed the clue and see if you can get the answer before Jean does. She's pretty quick, though, so get your finger right on that pause button. Okay, here we go. Are you ready for your clues?
I am.
All right. Overly rehearsed.
Overly rehearsed?
Yes.
Overly rehearsed. What's the word for that? Pat.
Right. Shoot. Didn't think you'd get that one.
Pat answer.
One way to stand in poker was the second.
What was it?
One way to stand in poker.
Pat.
Oh, I should have gone with that one.
Oh, yeah.
And then unit of butter.
Oh, yeah, Pat.
Right. Okay. Well, listeners, did you get it with overly rehearsed? Possibly not. All right. Your next set of clues. Here we go. Cigarettes have it.
Cigarette habit?
No. Cigarettes have it.
Cigarettes habit. Cigarettes habit. Is that with an apostrophe S?
Nope. No apostrophe in that clue.
No, okay. Cigarettes habit.
Yes. She's thinking it over, listeners.
Cigarettes habit.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Lit.
Nope. Subject of 2 squares on a Monopoly board.
Subject of 2 squares. Well, there's railroads. There's utility companies. There's subject of, boy. I'm just drawing a blank. Sorry.
Okay. Boston Tea Party issue.
Tax.
Correct.
Oh, yes.
Cigarettes have it, a tax.
Yes.
And apparently 2 squares in a Monopoly board involve tax.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. I mean, there's jail.
No, but you have to pay your property taxes or something.
Oh.
There's a couple, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you got it in 3.
Or income tax. I think you have to pay a percentage of your income. Yeah.
Are there any CPAs on the board? All right.
Okay.
All right. Here's your next set of clues.
Okay.
What nobody can stand to make.
Could you repeat that?
What nobody can stand to make.
Oh, no one can stand to make.
There's a question mark after that, by the way.
What no one can stand to make? Lap.
Yes. Drat, you're
I'm glad you told me about the question mark then. I thought, oh, this is a play on words.
You're too good. Second set of clues was come full circle.
Oh, yeah.
And once around the track.
Yep. Lap,
All right.
lap.
Well done. Well, it's clear I'm going to have to up the difficulty level
don't.
here.
Please don't. Don't make them all like tax.
All right. Well, you got 2 of them in 1 and 1 of them in 3.
Yep.
So bravo.
Thank you.
Listeners, how did you do in this? Let us know. crosswordpodcast@icloud.com. That is it for today. We will be back again with our cutting edge analysis of Wednesday's crossword tomorrow.
Bye-bye.